Hello everyone, my name is Josiah. Thank you for coming to my channel today. As you can see, I am not at my house right now. I'm hanging out with my fiance at her parents' house, and she's a little camera shy, so she doesn't want to come on camera and say hello to everyone. But she's sitting right over there. And it is February, and as you all know, a big part of February is Valentine's Day. So I thought it would be fun to pick several movies that really have to deal with like love in different capacities to talk about for Valentine's Day. And my fiance also came up with a few suggestions of her own. So, to get started, sorry for all the noise in the background. Her two dogs are running around. But anyway, my first pick, Sing Street. It's a really sweet coming of age movie about a young boy who he moved to a new school. His parents are going through a divorce, and he sees a girl. He likes this girl, and he wants to impress her by telling her he's in a band that he's not actually in. So there's a lot about just friendships, relationships, and just like young love, I guess, if you will. Up next, we have Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. So I'm not super big on romantic comedies, but this looked funny to me when it first came out. And it's actually a pretty sweet movie. You have like Michael Cera playing Nick. He's kind of this quirky, awkward guy who's trying to get over his ex-girlfriend. Then you have Nora, who's in a relationship that she really just doesn't like being in. Her boyfriend is really just using her to get a record label or a record deal from her father. And throughout this movie, they kind of get to know each other and fall in love. Um, and a bunch of other crazy stuff happens. But actually, I thought it was pretty sweet, even though the ending still makes me pretty mad. But I'm not going to get into all that. Up next, we have Her. Now, I haven't really watched this movie in a minute, but it's about like a man who's kind of socially awkward. He doesn't really know how to connect with other people, and this company that he works for creates this computer software, or this company in this world creates this computer software where you can have a personalized AI, and the AI that he customizes is voiced by Scarlett Johansson. And over the course of the film, they really get to know each other, and they really get to fall in love. And I know that really seems a little weird that he's falling in love with what's basically a robot. Looking at you, Wanda Maximoff. But it was just a really sweet movie that deals a lot about like love and relationships. Even though the end of the movie, spoiler alert, but she does kind of, Scarlett Johansson and the other AIs do kind of transcend humanity, and she ends up leaving him. But the way I read the movie the first time I saw it was through that experience he learns how to connect with other people, which is something that he didn't know how to do at the start of the film. And so it's very kind of like poetic in a way, in my mind. Number four, we have the Before trilogy. This is my special Criterion Collection edition. I was actually quite nervous to bring this all the way over here from my house, but um, I don't really know when I first heard about these movies or decided to watch them. But I think each one is very interesting. Like it starts off, I think the first one's Before Sunrise, and it's just two people meeting one night. Ethan Hawke is like in France, I want to say, and he's just kind of on vacation. He meets this young girl, and over the course of the night, they just spin together. They end up like really connecting and bonding. And this is a time before like social media and everything. So at the end of the movie, when he has to go back home, they just agree to continue to write each other and meet back there a year later, even though there's really no guarantee that they ever will. And then Before Sunset takes place 10 years later, where you find out they didn't end up meeting back together like they agreed upon. And it's just about reconnecting with one another after of all these years. And you could still see that there's still those feelings that they had for each other. And they decide to get back together and rekindle the, love that they had in Before Sunrise. And then the final movie, Before Midnight, it's like 10 years after that. They had been married, they had kids, but their marriage isn't exactly, what they thought it'd be, or it isn't going well at this point in time. And it's about them in a way like struggling to fight for their marriage or to make this relationship work after all this time. And the last movie on my list that I don't actually own on Blu-ray, I was quite shocked, is Casablanca. So this movie, it's about this kind of skeptical American who has to, he's wrestling with on whether or not he wants to help his old love and her fugitive husband escape the Nazis in Morocco. And I haven't seen this movie in quite some years. I watched it in school, but I just really thought it was such a great movie, a really great story. And sometimes life is like that. You love someone, maybe maybe things didn't work out, but the love that you had for this person didn't really go away. So years later, if maybe they're in some need, you still desire to help them, and maybe you still do because you still love and care for someone. So it's cool to see a movie about still kind of holding on to love or loving someone from afar, regardless of whether or not things worked out between the two of you. Those were all that I had for my picks. I know my fiance had a couple she wanted to talk about. The first one was Grease. Now, I've never really seen Grease, so it's just about, it's their senior year of high school. You did say that they were like, they had broken up and then they're getting back together. So it's about what their love to get back together, the fact that they still love each other.
This idea of kind of like, so they just come from two like really different worlds, whereas he's like this greaser from America, she's just like this really innocent Australian, and so when she ends up, he thinks it's just going to be like a summer fling, she ends up staying, and so there's so much peer pressure on his end, like, oh, you can't date a girl, you just sleep with her and get rid of her. So he's trying to play hard, but he actually really loves her, so they're like trying to figure out how they can still be together, and he just keeps hurting her over and over, but they still want to be together. So by the end of it, he just gives up and like sucks it up and gives everything up to be with her.
Awesome. I couldn't say it better myself, obviously, because I haven't seen the movie. So thank you. Next, she had also mentioned West Side Story, more of the original film. That's very nostalgic for her. I'm sure all of you know the story of West Side Story, but it's like, those cultural differences and wanting to be in a relationship with someone when there's like a lot of reasons why people that you love and care about don't want you to be together. So it's fighting for your love, even if everybody else disagrees. And another one she loved was Pretty Woman. She actually showed me that film. That's also a really good story about, just loving somebody and seeing them for who they are. Julia Roberts plays a hooker, and Richard Gere is like this rich business guy who hires her. Why does he hire her again?
Companionship.
Just for companionship. And over the course of the film, like, he really, like, the whole movie, he just treats her with love and respect and kindness, and he doesn't let anybody disrespect her or talk about her. And over the course of the movie, they do begin to like really care about each other and love each other. So it was actually a really good film. I was kind of shocked in a way. Did you have any more? You didn't have any more?
Correct.
All right. Well, that was all the ones that she had. And that kind of concludes this video. What are some of your guys' favorite movies about love? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.